there, it's Michelle Leahy with Reedy Press, and joining me today is author Bob Hines, the author of our new book, Amazing Asheville. So Bob, I was thinking about how Amazing Asheville is the only book I've ever read about Asheville.
Yeah, that's true because it's the only book that has been written about Asheville. Yeah, it's a small town south of Columbus.
Yeah,
it's in a rural area. So this is an unusual approach to a book. I think it's interesting that I think small towns are misunderstood in the popular press. I know a lot of the things that are out there make you think that small towns, the small town mayor is a buffoon and the police chief is a corrupt or an idiot, and the local populace are hayseeds. But in my book, I try to show that these places are undervalued as incubators of intellectual and artistic and entrepreneurial talent. But I do it in a way that's kind of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the dog who voted Republican.
Oh yeah, the dog that voted Republican. Well, the dog that voted Republican is an interesting story. There were two people in our town who were central to this story. One is Clyde Brinker. He owned a restaurant on Long Street. 2 doors down was the local barber, Tom Ackard. Well, Tom's barbershop was the unofficial Democratic headquarters. And Clyde Brinker's restaurant was the unofficial Republican headquarters. And they were bitter. They had an interesting rivalry, but Clyde wanted to get one over on Tom. So he trained his dog to bark and growl whenever the name Al Smith was mentioned. And Al was the Democratic candidate for president. But when Herbert Hoover's name was mentioned, the dog would yelp and jump around. So he took his dog over to Tom Ackard's barbershop, and there were a bunch of gentlemen in there getting ready to get their haircut. He said, "Tom, I got something to show you." He said, "Well, what do you got to show me?" He says, "My dog." So I want to show you. He says, "What do you think of Al Smith?" Well, he growled. Then he said, "What do you think of Herbert Hoover?" And he yelped and jumped around, and everybody applauded. Clyde says, "My dog is smaller than all you damn Democrats." To which Tom Ackard said, "Clyde, I'm worried that you Republicans are only as smart as your dog."
Oh no. He walked right into that one, didn't he?
He walked right into that.
Oh, so that's just one of many stories, many interesting stories. You have the rooster who paid for his own meal, and the world's largest woman. I mean, just so many interesting stories. And what a great time to dive into a read like this when we're all kind of stuck in our houses. Let's see, what do you want to tell readers about Asheville from your book?
I want people to learn that that there's as much humor, that there's cringeworthy things, and that there's a great amount of achievement and connections to national and world history that can be found in small towns like Asheville. Most towns, the reason why I say it's the most colorful community in America is Asheville, they actually looked for those things and found them. Most towns have not looked. So they don't know those connections or those, how they're related to political movements and important celebrities and events and things. So I think, I'd like to think that my book might be a guidepost or something that other communities could look at, rural communities look at and say, "Huh, I wonder if that happened here too," because it probably did.
Very cool. I, for one, can't wait until the quarantine is lifted and I can get to Asheville and see experienced amazing things myself. Where could people pick up a copy of your book?
Well, it's available online
Okay.
at www.amazingasheville.com.
Okay.
That's ASHVILLE.
All right. And could folks get an autographed copy if they go there?
Yes.
Okay.
They can even ask for an inscription. So if they wanted me to say something like, to the person I most admire in the world, I would write that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Could be Father's Day taken care of right there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Bob, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you joining me. We look forward to visiting Asheville one day.
Well, we'd be glad to have you. Thank you.